Listen, Halloween's just around the corner, and oftentimes that is used as an excuse for gaudy productions, especially for those of us in content creation surrounding board games. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to come out in some floral print t-shirt and explain why there's a series of games that I adore because it's the spooky season. But that being said, there is a series of games that I want to touch on, and because it is close to Halloween and it has sort of a spooky theme. So come along with me, let's take a closer look at the Silver series from Bezier Games. Bezier's Silver series of games fits perfectly into the spooky season because it is straight from their werewolf universe. A series that the only 4 games that I've played of which are sitting right here on the table. Thematically and mechanically wise, they are a simple card game about having the lowest score possible. There's the whole backstory on how each particular villager attracts a certain amount of werewolves. So the higher the number, the more werewolves that particular villager will attract. So get numbers out of your village. Look, let me explain it this way, and I can explain all 4 games at once. At the start of every round, a player has 5 face-down cards in their village. Now, except for the start of the round, you can't look at these or change their order, except during the course of play. But to start the round, you do get to take a look at 2 cards from your village, and then put them right back. Because there's a bit of a memory aspect in this game that honestly makes or breaks it for some people. Now on your turn, you do one of 3 things. The first thing you can do is flip a card from the deck. Once you do this, there are some options for you. If it's a card that has the correct icon, you can take the action before discarding it. This particular action lets me take a look at a card in any village, including my opponent's. But for this example, I'll take a look at mine. A 1 is a pretty good card, second best in the game. So that is a card that I want to keep in my village because low cards are good. The other option I could have done is just discarded it, not taken any action. Or, if this is a card that I want, I could try to trade it for 1 in my village. I would simply swap one of my cards and take it and place it face down in the same spot. Now that didn't do me much good because I didn't know what this card is, and that's this game. This game is figuring out what you have in your village and getting rid of what you don't want and taking in what you do. The other action I can take is to take the top card at the discard. Just like before, I would have to trade it with 1 or more of this cards in my village. Now what I didn't mention before is I can trade multiple cards from my village for a single card, which is great because less cards means less points. The caveat is that all the cards that I switch from my village have to be matching. So, let's say I wanted this too. If I can remember what the 2 cards were that I looked at the beginning of the round, which happened to be pairs, I could show them, discard both of them, and take this 1 card and replace it. And because it came from the discard, it would stay face up. Now, if I wanted this too, I have to use my memory to figure out where that pair was that I had. And if I can't, and I say, okay, these 2 are the ones, I'm trading these 2 in, and I flip it up only to see that they are not matching, these go back. I do get this card, but it goes into my village in addition with all the other ones, and I now have more cards than I had before. And the third action I can take is I can call for a vote. I can only do that when I have 4 or less cards in my village. Everyone else gets 1 final turn, and then we flip, keeping in mind which ones were face up and which cards were face down. A score is tallied, and if the person that called for the vote has the lowest score, they score 0 points for the entire round. But if they are not the lowest score in the entire round, they count up their points, add that, as well as an additional 10 points for the round. And depending on the version you're playing, one of the namesake artifacts is given to the winner of the round. They start the next round. Whoever has the least amount of points after 4 rounds wins the game. If you take just Silver Amulet, you're cooking with gas. This game is a blast, and it's one that I thoroughly enjoy playing. And full disclosure, most of these games I've only played at 2-player. This one works great. Not only that, if I can convince you to even test this out, to try it out, there's a free app. And try the app out. Give it about 10 plays so you can really get a feel for the game and the card flavor. And the app plays 2-player, it's only against AI, but it's free and it's a blast too. It's something that I pull out. It's one of the apps that I pull out the most frequently when I'm just sitting down and quickly want to play around. It introduces you and sort of gets you familiar with that memory aspect that's required for all of the Silver games. And for my money, which I didn't pay for any of these because Bezier sent them along to me, Silver Amulet is the best standalone of the bunch. And if I were just to own one of them, it would be Silver Amulet. But why the need for 4 games that are essentially the same thing? It's because every single game has the same numerical value, 0 through 13 worth of cards, but each of those cards has a different ability. And those cards interact with each other. And so while Dominion has this fun deck building customizable thing where you can mix and match different sets from lots of large boxes, the Silver series is sort of like a mini Dominion where you pick and choose what you want. You always have 0 through 13, but you could have 0 from this set, 1 from this set, 2 from this set, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can mix and match however you'd like. Find the synergies that work best. Now, like I said, Silver Amulet for me is the one that works the best all on its own. I rarely like changing anything about this, but there are 1 or 2 that are sort of fun to mix and match. Let's go ranking. I want to show you what I think of each of these. Silver Amulet, this is my top. This one I think is the best bang for your buck. This will introduce you to the series and get you up and running quickly. There's not too many convoluted ideas, not too many complicated cards. It's simple, straightforward, and there's still some complexity in terms of who you're playing with and the memory aspect. My second favorite is the newest, Silver Dagger. This particular one is much more about manipulating your cards. It's not so much getting the cards that you need, it is the cards that you need have to interact in a very specific way. And so this one is a ton of fun because it introduces mechanics where you are having to figure out how to get certain cards to flip. And if you can't do that, there's some Hail Mary cards in there that you could potentially win the entire game with, but they're difficult to pull off. I really enjoy this one. Third for me is Silver Coin, just below Silver Dagger for me. It is a lot of fun. I just found Silver Dagger much more enticing with sort of the fun things you can do. Silver Bullet is sort of the Wacky West. There's a lot of fun ideas in this one, and not all of them work 100%. That being said, I would love to mix some of the cards from Silver Bullet with Silver Dagger because of the flip actions that you have to do in Silver Dagger. There are some that will work really well with Silver Bullet. Each of these sets is tailored to itself. So the easiest thing is to just grab one depending on the type of game that you're feeling up for and go for it. Silver Amulet, Bullet, Coin, Dagger, and I'm assuming Elephant comes next, are all really fun games, and I'm excited to see what Bezier comes up with next. And even if they don't, there's enough content here to pick and choose what you like. If you're curious, get Amulet. If you're still curious, look at some of the card lists on BGG. You can go in and see exactly how each specific card interacts with each other, and choose the sets that work for you. If you're a completionist, get them all, because none of them are bad, and the best ones are fantastic.